Afternoon, welcome to Midcap Radar live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Sonal Bhutra. With me as always is Vivek Iyer. It's been quite volatile today. We did see markets coming off from the highs of the day and we are below the 26,200 mark right now. For some time, Nifty continued to be in the green, but that's not the case anymore. We'll have to see whether this dip gets bought into or not because all the major indices are in the red currently.
That's right. Good afternoon, Sonal. So like you mentioned, especially in the last hour or so, what we've actually seen is we've seen quite a bit of a sell-off emerging at the higher levels. Most of the sectoral indices have actually gone ahead and given up significant gains. As you can see, the mid-cap index too underperforming along with the small-cap index. But we have a lot lined up on the show, an important corporate conversation as well. So let's start off with the top headlines. Stocks swing between gains and losses ahead of the market holiday on account of Christmas. Metals, financials and industrials notched some gains while FMCG and IT dragged.
VIP Industries is in focus. Promoter sells 26% equity in two block deals as it undertakes the previously agreed transfer of stake to multiple PE-led consortium.
Vikran Engineering shares surged nearly 15% today after the company announced it has received a major work order worth 2,035 crores from Onyx Renewables Limited for the development of a 600 megawatt AC solar power project.
And Ajanta Pharma shares surge after company inks an in-licensing agreement with Biocon for marketing semaglutide in 26 countries. The management tells CNBC-TV18 that they are excited about their partnership with Biocon and they will target emerging markets with a market size of $100 billion in coming years.
Castrol India shares surge as much as 9% in trade after the company reports that the global parent will be selling out to BP, and on the back of that, this particular stock, the Indian listed entity, will see an open offer getting triggered.
Okay, all right. Those are the top headlines that we are tracking for the markets. As we pointed out previously, we have come up from the highs of the day. It's been swinging between red and green, but for now, we are below the 26,200 mark with mid-caps too, seeing a fall from the highs of the day. As we speak, Nifty is at the day's low, and that's the case across the board with mid-caps, Bank Nifty, and the Sensex as well. But we do have our special segment, Mid-Cap Movers. We have Hormuz here to take us through the mid-caps that are moving around in trade. Hormuz.
The mid-caps may be at the lows of the day, but there are enough and more that are still holding on to some gains in today's session. So we'll start off with the gainers. We are heading into a holiday, so let's begin on an optimistic note. JBM Auto is now up 9%, and Nuvama Wealth, 5 Paisa, some capital market linked names doing well. 5 Paisa is now up 9% as we speak. Godavari Biorefineries too is trading with gains of around 7%. Now, the stock that has the newsmakers today, VIP Industries, after that block deal now has extended its gains, now is up 15% as we speak, now well above the open offer price. Castrol at one point had surged 9% but is giving up those gains rather swiftly. Bharat Dynamics, of course, after that successful missile launch, and Ajanta Pharma's deal with Biocon took the stock almost 5.5% higher at one point, still holding on to gains of around 3%. But the commodity rally, gold, silver, copper, name it, they are at record high levels, and look at the stocks as well. Hindustan Copper is now at the levels last seen in 2010. Manappuram is at record highs. IIFL Finance is at the day's high. Hindustan Zinc too continues to move higher. Market cap now crossing 2.5 lakh crore for Hindustan Zinc. So good going for this stock as well. And lastly, some stocks that are not doing well though today. Sandhar Tech is now down 5.5%. Kajaria is at the lows of the day. HCC is extended losses as well. So the broader market names are starting to extend losses, with a lot of these mid-sized banking names too, like Bandhan Bank and Federal Bank, falling to the lows of the day. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Hormuz. The only bright spot appears and continues to remain the metal pack, like you just mentioned. But it's a good time to welcome Ajit Mishra of Religare Broking for a quick technical check on the market. Good afternoon, Ajit, and thank you so much for joining us. The market was moving steadily higher, but the last hour or so, you've seen significant selling pressure. What do you make of the Nifty at current levels?
Hi, good afternoon, Vivek, and good afternoon, Sonal. So first of all, festive greetings to you, the entire team, all the viewers. So yes, we are seeing a bit of this move, consolidation continuing in the index after this recent rebound. But Vivek, this is something which is going on from the last 3 weeks. So maybe closer to around 25,950 is the area basically where we have the 20 EMA placed, is where one should continue with the buy and dips approach until we decisively break that mark. But having said that, the banking index holds the key. So basically, the focus should be on the banking index. 59,500 for the Nifty bank is something that you should keep a close eye on. The moment we cross this, then we'll see the next directional move unfolding in the market. So as of now, the consolidation is likely to continue. Better to maintain stock-specific approach.
And what would that stock-specific approach mean, Ajit? What are your individual picks?
Zonal, first that while the FMCG pack is still underperforming, we have some of the names like Britannia, Marico, which are like holding well and inching higher with every passing week. So Britannia, after this marginal retracement, looks upbeat for the next leg of the up move. So Britannia can be accumulated at current levels. 5900 should be a stop, and 6350 is what we are eyeing in the near target. Then we have Industar, which is almost like after almost a month-long consolidation, we have seen a fresh decisive breakout today. So we expect this momentum to further carry, and 448 is what we are eyeing as an immediate target. So with stop at 417, one can accumulate Industar also at current levels.
Well, thank you so much. And as you speak, Industar up almost 3% in the session today. Well, thank you so much, Ajit, for joining us, giving us a view on the markets as well as your technical trading picks. Well, we'll now slip into a short break. Up next, we will connect with the management of Seagull India as the company has bagged a 550 crore orders. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Mid-Cap Radar, and one stock which is on our radar is Castrol India Limited, because there's an activity which is happening on the parent level. Now remember, British Petroleum or BP has agreed to sell 65% stake in Castrol Limited, which is the MNC parent, to Stonepeak at an enterprise value of $10 billion. This will have a consideration of $6 billion, which will have accelerated dividend payments and which will be utilized to pay the net debt or fully pay the debt of British Petroleum. This $6 billion consideration includes $0.8 billion for the prepayment of future dividend income over the medium to short term, and also other adjustments that the company, the BP, has to make in its books. Now, important update here, because their presentation or their press release says a significant proportion of Castrol JV minority interests relate to the shareholding of the publicly listed Castrol India Limited, basically Castrol India, which is a listed stock, and that surge post the announcement that came by on on Castrol Limited's website. The Castrol Limited company holds 51% stake in the Indian listed company, but post this transaction, Castrol Limited will have 35% stake coming in from BP and 65% will be with Stonepeak. Is that it? No, because after a 2-year lock-in period, BP has the option to further sell 35% stake, and that will be the key to watch whether they completely exit Castrol Limited or not. The transaction is expected to complete by the end of 2026, subject to regulatory approvals, and it includes minority interest in Castrol because it has its subsidiary or entities across the world, be it in India, be it in Vietnam, Saudi Arabia, Thailand, and other jurisdictions as well. Why is it important for the listed company in India? One, because they mentioned the minority interest is largely for the listed company in Castrol India, and secondly, Stonepeak has indicated that they have announced tender offer to Castrol India holders, but yes, that will come by only when this initial process or initial, transaction gets completed. So what is the open offer price? What are the further details is something that we'll be watching out for very closely. The stock surged on the back of this news, has come off highly because the details are still to be known. But yes, this is an important transaction, something which was expected in the market as well. And on the back of that, we are seeing this reaction that has come by on Castrol.
Well, thank you so much, Sonal, for explaining the details of the Castrol deal. We are talking about Castrol, the parent of the Indian listed arm. Well, moving on, Seagull India is the management joining us today. The company yesterday announced a large order win of 550 crore for solar power projects from Madhya Pradesh Urja Vikas Nigam. Ramnik Sehgal, the chairman and managing director of the company, and the discussion will be around, number one, the order win that we just mentioned from the state of Madhya Pradesh, the order inflows that the company has seen in Q3, and we will also ask the management whether they are on track for the 10 to 15% top-line growth that they had guided the investor community to. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sehgal, for joining us. First, talk to us about this particular order, the scope of the order, what margins you will operate it at, and what will be the execution period for this particular pretty large order that you have won in the state of Madhya Pradesh.
First of all, good afternoon and thank you for having me over. So this is in Madhya Pradesh. This is PM Kusum scheme. We already have 337 megawatt in Maharashtra in the same scheme. And we have 220 megawatt in Morena. So totality in renewable, which is solar plus BESS, is close to 887 megawatt. We are really looking forward to these works because if you see our order win, our tariff rates are the highest. We've got it at 2.85, vis-a-vis others, who have quoted around 2.732, where we are. And in terms of order book, we have guided and spoken to our investors during our earning calls that we will be planning to get 5,000 crore of the order book. I'm happy to share we've already crossed that. Still, we have 3 months. So in terms of the revenue, yes, as guided, we would have our looking forward that we should have at least a growth of 10 to 15%.
Okay. Coming back to this project itself, Mr. Sehgal, what is the timeline for completion and the kind of margins that you'll be seeing here, since you're saying the tariffs are higher than the other bidders as well?
So we always bid on a project basis. The project basis, the equity IRR has to be minimum 25%. Okay. So we have quoted around that, and in fact, we'll try to improve that 25%. The time limit of this project is almost 2 years. We'll target to complete in 18 months. We are just waiting for the PPA to happen. We have already started some groundwork. Once the PPA is signed, we'll immediately get into action.
Okay, so right now you're just waiting for the PPA to get signed. So you told us that you've crossed the 5,000 crore order inflow mark as far as FY26 is concerned. So Q3, what has been the incremental order inflow? After that, what are the orders in which you are currently L1 in? So end of FY26, where can the order book stand at? Or what can be the total order inflows?
Right now, we are at 14,237 crores. And this year, the total order book which we have taken is about 5,386 crore. So our target was to get 5,000 crore in this year. And we've already achieved that. We have already quoted projects more than 15,000 crore. And huge pipeline is there for the new bidding as well. So getting orders would not be a challenge for company Seagull. And growth ways also, what we have guided our investors, 10 to 15%, we'll definitely try to achieve it.
Okay, so now that you're saying you've already surpassed your order inflow guidance in Q3 itself, so 9 months you have already crossed that. What happens to the revenue then? Will you not be able to exceed that mark as well? Because now that order book is higher or order inflow is higher, the execution will be faster and some of it could come in this financial year itself.
So normally what happens, like the projects we have got in Kusum, so LOAs are issued, but from last 3 months, Maharashtra government is not able to sign the PPA. So till the time the PPAs are signed, you can understand the execution is a little difficult. So it all depends upon these PPAs to be signed. And same is the case with the highways, where in HAM, we are blessed that our 3 projects have started, 2 Yodhas and 1 Ludhiana Bathinda. And Southern is also expected to start very soon, and VRK12 also expected to start soon. Once these projects are started, next year revenue would be nice. The clarity would be much more better.
Okay, Mr. Sehgal, so we get that point totally. So at the start of the year, you had guided the street to a broad range of 10 to 15% top line growth. Now, when you're looking at H1, we understand H1, there were quite a few execution challenges as well. We are closer to 3 to 4% is the kind of top line growth that we've seen, H1 versus H1. So even if we look at or look to achieve the lower end of the guided band, it still implies a steep 17 to 18% H2 run rate. Will you be able to achieve that?
100%. We'll be able to achieve it because the new projects have started, and H1 always is a rainy season, and you can understand a business like ours where at least 3 to 4 states were affected with the heavy rainfall. And now last 2 quarters are the best quarters. And whereas I would say the last quarter is our best quarter always, if you see 30 to 35% revenue comes in the last quarter. So we're really looking forward to what we have guided to the investors. We'll try to achieve that.
Mr. Sehgal, a lot of your orders are coming in from the government, right? Be it state governments or the central government. What is the receivable situation in this case? What are receivable days currently, and what is still left to be received? What is the cycle generally in which you do get your money for the orders placed?
So normally it was around 50 to 70 days. in some orders where the milestones, earlier we used to get a payments in Atmanirbhar, where we used to achieve a 2% milestone, the payment was paid to us. Whereas now the milestones have, for example, in a hybrid annuity, after 10% it is straight to 20%, then it's 35%. So the receivables goes on a higher side. It goes to 80, 90 days also. But till the time you achieve the milestone, the payment is not made. And this has only changed in last 1.5 years. Before March 23, there was a scheme of government in Atmanirbhar where we were getting paid for every percent also. But doesn't matter. It is good for the industry. It is a healthy sign for industry where the large players can quote better and get better projects at a better price also.
So just trying to understand, what are the receivables currently? What's the amount that you are still to receive, which is there in your balance sheet?
It should be around 1,000 crore.
1,000 crore rupees, and your annual turnover is around 2,400 crore rupees.
No. Last year we did 3,400 crores.
Okay, all right. Okay, got it.
Okay, Mr. Sehgal, two questions. Number one, especially when it comes to the road space, when you're talking about NHI, this year ordering activity has been extremely muted. And even last year, 2 consecutive years, it's been quite muted. So are you hopeful that, in the, H2 as well as FY27, that is going to pick up, number one. And the second part of the question, now that you have quite a few orders coming in from the renewable energy space, players have flagged off various issues like land acquisition, and execution has become a challenge. So going forward, do you see moderation as far as growth rates are concerned?
So, NHI has a great pipeline in the future. It is only what they're doing is they're changing some documents in terms of their bidding. They're making it better for both NHI and the companies, concessionaires, in both BOT as well as HAM. In terms of qualification criteria, they've already changed, and there has been the amendments, and we've already got in August. And that has really, it is made better for companies like us. So top 20 companies in India would be benefited with these new guidelines. In terms of once these SBDs are finalized, which I think will be done in January, and in February and March onwards, there would be a lot of order inflow. If you see on the NHI website also, there are projects worth 3 lakh crore. And already the cabinet has approved close to 1 lakh crore. And there's another 67,000 crore of the pipeline, which is with the cabinet, which I'm expecting that they should approve it. So a lot of work is there. What they have done is they've cleaned the entire thing where till the time the land is given clear to us, they have a forest clearances available with them, they're not going to receive the tenders, which is good. Earlier the contracts which we have got in 2022, 23 are not started yet only because the clearances are being given. It's better to wait, clean up the entire system, which they are doing it, they're doing the right thing. And once the tenders are there, it'll be good to start immediately after the LOAs and appointed dates.
Okay, Mr. Sehgal, quite a few of the players in the industry have actually taken or done a one-time exercise where they've removed non-moving orders out of the order book. Do you have any pending orders in the order book where there's not been much movement? And number two, you did mention post the criteria changed by NHAI, there will be fewer players. But the feedback that we've been receiving from the industry, especially when it comes to the BOT space, has been significant competition at much lower margins. So what is the on-ground situation?
So EPC, still there would be a lot of competition, but in terms of HAM and BOT, where the tenders will be more than 2,000 crore, there'll be hardly 15-20 players who can actually play around those numbers. But otherwise, I don't think getting order book would be a challenge. We have just bagged a highway tender for 1,089 crores in MP, which is MP RDC Ujjain. So, you can see our order book also. And going forward, I think by February end of March, there'll be a lot of bidding from NHI side also. There would be tenders from state government also. If we talk about the other order book where you think we have to clean up or something, so, we had 10 HAM projects. Out of 3 are completed, 3 are under construction, 2 we are targeting to start immediately, and the last 2 we are planning to start before April. So all our orders are intact, and we are looking forward to start it ASAP once the land is given clear to us. And I don't think any challenges coming. Only we had one Bhubaneswar Metro which couldn't start, and the government terminated this contract. And we filed our compensation on the government also, which is going into a conciliation now.
All right.
Otherwise, I don't think there is any problem as such on any other project.
Take that point, Mr. Sehgal. Out of time, otherwise we had a lot more questions. But thank you so much for joining in. The stock is surged to the day's high post this commentary and interview as well. So we'll keep a track on the outlook on execution of this new order that the company has won. We'll sip into a break. We'll come back with more focus on stock-specific actions. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Mid-caps continue to be under pressure. They're underperforming the benchmarks, 0.2% lower on that one at the day's low. But there are some stocks which are bucking the trend. For instance, we have JBM Auto. The stock is up 9.5%. KNR Constructions is the other one, which is high by 6.5%. A lot of these chemical names doing really well in trade. Nuvama Wealth is the other one, which is up 4%. We've been talking about these gold financiers, and Manappuram Finance is one of them, which is up around 6.5%. Gillette is the other one, which is surging 3.5% higher on that one. So tracking all these stocks, despite the underperformance in the index, there are far and few stocks which are buzzing in trade on the upside. With that, we'll take your leave on this edition of Midcap Radar, but stay tuned, your stocks when we return.